This right here is exactly why I got trust issues, bro. Before we get into this video, the YN mindset is ruining society. Yeah, we know this. I already told y'all about the ski masks during the summertime. I don't trust none of you. I don't trust none of you. Listen, so I'm talking to this shorty, right? I'm talking to this shorty from IG. I got her on IG and shit, right? Shorty had replied up to one of my stories. I posted a picture. She liked my story. She swiped up to it. I ended up getting her number. Then we texting and shit, right? As we texting, it eventually gets to her saying, you know I have a man, right? I mean, I guess you clearly didn't care. My response to that was, not at all. Listen, just chill. My response to that was, not at all. You not married. I respect marriages. So in that case, I leave it up to you. I'm with whatever you with. Shorty gonna reply, LMFAOO with 2 O's. You ain't gonna snitch, right? That's a damn shame, bro. That's a damn shame, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And this is what I be saying, bro. A lot of my trust issues don't even be coming from personal experience, for real. It'll be coming from shit that I see other motherfuckers doing and going through. Mind you, this is a girl that she has her nigga in her bio. She got her nigga's initial and shit in her bio. She be posting the motherfucker on her stories, paragraphs and all that. Talking like this, sending me certain pictures, talking about she trying to link up and fucking shit. And not only that, the conversation eventually led to her saying, oh, pull up on me, oh, you feel me, so we could do what we do. But shorty says she lived with her nigga. Automatic setup. Automatic setup. You can't tell me no shit like that. What? How you gonna tell me to pull up and you live with your man? Are you crazy? You bugging. So then, you know, like I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I entertained it, but I already know, like, you can't take a bitch like that serious, bro. Like, she's a hoe. She's a hoe. So then I stopped replying to her. I stopped talking. You feel me? I stopped talking to her. Some days went by, a day or two went by. Shorty double texted me talking about hi. I said good morning, how'd you sleep? And when she said hi, she put the rolling eyes emojis. I said, why you rolling your eyes? Shorty said, cause I don't like the whole leaving me in the inbox responding 2 days after and shit like that. I said, nah, my bad. I be bad at texting sometimes, not gonna lie. Her response to that was, it was good the first day. Yeah, bitch, until I got to know you a little more. It was good the first day until I got to know you a little more, until you exposed your character and personality to me. Now it's over. Now it's over. You's a hoe. You's a hoe. I can't take you serious. For real. Nah, y'all bitches is bugging, bro. Let's get to this video, though.
Certain spaces of TikTok and social media, I'm sure a lot of people have heard the term YN. Not to be confused with Young Ninja. YN stands for Young Nigga, which is a slang popularized by rap culture. The term is supposed to represent young black men.
And hold on, the shit that I just said about the girl and shit, I've definitely been on both ends of the stick. I've definitely been on both sides, you know? And it's just like, bro, that just don't feel good, bro. Like, that just don't feel good. Like, I don't even want to partake in that type of shit, bro. I'm dead ass. I don't even want to partake in that type of shit. Like, I don't even want none of that type of shit even coming back to me. For real. So I'm not even, come on, bro. Listen. Alright. What Don Q said? I fuck niggas, bitches. How can I trust mine?
Mostly teens, and is heavily associated with the image of a black face, often in connection with erratic behavior, which 99% of the time involves hurting people, whether that be stealing, robbing, or just being belligerent. However, this term is not defined by skin color. It's more a mindset that the new generation of young people are taking on. We're talking about children as young as 10 being influenced by the behaviors that come with this term, and they're mainly being influenced by it through different forms of media, social media being the main one. But we also have music, specifically rappers, promoting this way of showing up in the world. A lot of the violent behavior from young people being publicized on social media right now
is all hip-hop. It's all rap. I promise you.
Can be connected to this mindset as well. And in this video, I want to talk about why the YN mindset is slowly ruining society. Rapper King Von, who died back in 2020, might be the poster boy for this conversation, because Von was not only the physical representation of what the YN term is associated with, which is a black face, but King Von was also big on being a menace to society. That's what Von not only spoke about in his music, but he took pride in being the physical representation. Von, who died back in 2020, might be the poster boy for this conversation.
What? King Von? Hell no. Wait. Y'all putting King Von over NBA Youngboy when it comes to this YN shit? Hell no. Hell no. Nigga, I blame Youngboy. Nigga, I blame Youngboy. For real. I need to get a YB poster for real. What YB poster should I get? That 3800 Degrees. I ain't gonna lie, 3800 Degrees came out in 2022. That shit was album of the year, bro.
Von was not only the physical representation of what the YN term is associated with, which is a black face, but King Von was also big on being a menace to society. That's what Von not only spoke about in his music, but he took pride in being the way he was. And then he got himself into an altercation in November 2020 and got himself killed. Now, Von is just one example out of many, but he was a famous rapper, so he managed to, at the very least, reap the rewards from operating this way.
Now, granted, is King Von there as well with the the face of the YN and shit like that? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But me personally, I get that shit to Youngboy, bro. I ain't gonna lie, motherfuckers listen.
For money from his music, he gained a lot of notoriety, fame, and recognition during his short-lived career. And although Von isn't here anymore, his music continues to influence kids all over the world in a negative way.
Killed by 4, I booked him through the jet on the way to LA while on the lift. She on me best what it is. Grip about it, no, I got it. On the side of suicidal, kamikaze, pussy shit, I don't know.
I chased my teacher with scissors. Yeah? I chased my teacher with scissors and I snapped her and then said, oh, you going to do this?
King, you gotta chill though, but that's not cool.
Huh?
It's not cool to be bad.
It is cool. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm just trying to be like my idol.
Who your idol?
King Von.
What the?
Now that clip that I just played you, I thought was some kind of skit when I, first came across it, but it's actually real. Here we have a young black boy around the age of 10 or 12 being asked about writing.
I ain't gonna lie, I always say this shit whenever I see Blackie speaks, but it's before he obviously he been around for a minute, but before I seen his face, I thought Blackie Speaks was a white dude. Cause look at the picture in the back. Look at that drawing in the back. That don't even look like him. That looks like that looks like a white man, bro. That looks like a white man. I thought Blackie Speaks was on some Adam 22 shit, I thought he was like some Adam 22 ass nigga.
But it's actually real. Here we have a young black boy around the age of 10 or 12 being asked about riding around with grown men on a robbery spree. He's bragging about having been to juvie, how he hurt his teacher, and that King Von influenced him to be this way. And by the way, the title of this YouTube short, which is over 5 million views, is Crazy YN Chased His Teachers with Scissors. Now the question I had when I seen this video was, why is this adult male in the car making these suggestions to this kid? That's a whole nother issue, right? But this is something we don't talk about often enough.
And that's another thing. A lot of these grown motherfuckers is... Listen, bro.
It's not just thousands. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of young people, might be in the millions at this point, adopting a similar way.
Because best believe there's kids out here who listen to King Von, they listen to Youngboy, they listen to all that drill shit, but due to how they're raised, due to how their parents raised them and the shit they instill in them, they're able to listen to the music but still able to separate the shit. They're not about to listen to the music and get influenced to the point where they're gonna go outside and do some dumb shit. Of course there are people who will do that, even if they do have both parents and shit like that, obviously, But it's like, come on, bro. I blame the adults. I blame the parents.
Of thinking, being, and moving. And sadly, most of them are young black teens. But then again, like we stated, it's not a race thing, but more of a cultural thing. We're gonna dive into that later. And for the more mature crowd watching this video, right, who may not be on social media or even have, let's say, young nephews, nieces, or children growing up in this, new age of social media, a lot of you guys might actually be confused and completely in the dark about this YN mindset that I'm talking about. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing about this. If that's the case and you enjoy this conversation so far, drop a like on this video, right? For others, especially all the younger people who watch this channel, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? For others, especially all the younger people who watch.
You going mad hard for what, nigga? Let him take the cookies. Like, look how this motherfucker running. What? Nah, they hit the Sonic. They hit the Sonic. Is that Sonic or Naruto? Listen, bro. Let him take the cookies, bro. Like, what is you doing?
This channel, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And then we have, you know, people like myself kind of in the middle who watch this
nigga just fall.
channel. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
So the nigga falls, drops the cookies, and the worker just turns around laughing. So clearly this shit was a skit. Clearly this shit was a skit. YN's taking cookies now. Bro, I hate y'all motherfuckers, bro. Like, I just hate the fact that motherfuckers just have access to the internet. Like, everybody is just able to upload some shit. Shit bothers me, bro. It really do. It really do. Everybody's just able to give their opinion and shit, bro.
And then we have, you know, people like myself kind of in the middle where I'm connected to it in a lot of ways and I see what's happening, but obviously I'm old enough to have enough sense to know how dysfunctional it is for society in general. First, we got to get clear about one thing, which is the YN term is a term that propagates a negative stereotype of black boys. For most people who know about this term and what it means, when they think about it, what probably pops up in their mind visually is a young black teen with a ski mask, maybe accompanied with a Glock 45, robbing people and being a menace. And that's something I personally think is a problem, right? It shouldn't be like that, but obviously it is, and there's some reasons behind it, and we're going to get into that later on. Now, the term to me isn't actually the issue, as crazy as it sounds, because if it stopped at just being words, there wouldn't be anything to talk about. The biggest problem is the mindset behind it and the energy it carries. For anyone who's heard the term about, the biggest
mind you, there's no bitches here, bro. There's no bitches here. All y'all niggas that be partaking in this right here that I'm looking at, y'all niggas is just doing this type of shit for other niggas, bro. Y'all niggas is weird. Niggas be trying to be overly tough, overly gangster for other niggas. Niggas be chilling on the block and on the corner and shit like that. Listen, bro. No bitches out here. Ain't no bitches out here. Niggas be out here trying to impress other niggas and shit. Y'all niggas is weird, bro. Y'all niggas is weird. That ass.
Problem is the mindset behind it and the energy it carries. For anyone who's heard the term YN, you've also probably heard crash out. Crash out is more of a mainstream way of describing when someone completely loses control, acts off emotion, ego, or pain with no thought for the consequences that may follow. I think Duke Dennis, who's a popular streamer, he explained it perfectly.
Crashing out is making a decision in a split second that could throw your whole life away. That's what crashing out is. Crashing out is, I'm ready to die about it. I'm ready to go to jail about it right now. Whole time the situation is not even worth going to jail about or dying about.
And shout out to Duke Dennis for the very proper explanation. In other words, you lose all logic and reasoning and let your emotions guide you towards an action that completely messes up your whole life when it could have been avoided. And these two terms, YN and crashing out, they're very connected. One of them, crash out, describes a general way of behaving without taking the person into account. So crash out can be about just about anybody, right? It can be about someone who's 15 years old, or it can be about someone who's 85 years old. YN is, however, catered towards the younger generation. And like we stated, it's often associated with young black teens. Now the question is, what is considered YN behavior? Well, let's put it like this, right? Anything that's reckless, belligerent, and violent. So let me give a few examples, right? Smash and grabs are a prime example of this. Back in 2020, specifically around the time of the 2020 riots, we saw a spike in a very specific type of crime, and it was called smash and grabs. Smash and grabs, for anyone who doesn't know, is a term that describes a type of crime where a bunch of people run into a store, most times being a designer clothing store or a place where they have expensive jewelry, computers, etc. They break the windows, they run inside, take a bunch of shit, and they just dip, right? A lot of this was happening in the major cities in the US, like
snatch and grab, nigga. In New York, niggas was just looting. That's what it was called in New York. Motherfuckers was looting, and that's crazy because I remember that too during quarantine. I think it was during quarantine. Motherfuckers just was going into stores and shit. Like, I don't know. They was even doing that shit here in the Bronx, like mom and pop shops type shit. That's crazy, bro. Y'all
New York,
motherfuckers-
Los
I wasn't
Angeles,
doing that
etc.
shit.
I think a lot that was
I ain't
happening
doing
can be
that
connected
shit.
to the things that were going on politically during that time, yes. But I think the pandemic and COVID-19 was a turning point for sure. I don't know about you, but I noticed how humans became way more, disconnected from each other after 2020 overall, and the way we interacted with each other as humans, right? But also what people were willing to do to others as far as hurting their fellow human beings. So with that shift, I noticed, and maybe you noticed this as well, I noticed how a lot of crimes were becoming way more vicious. You started hearing more and more about old people getting beat up and robbed.
I just saw a video too that resurfaced of a motherfucker here from New York. Nigga was talking about, oh, if you take the shot, you see this burger. If you take the shot, you get this burger, free fries. Motherfuckers is out here putting shit in their body for fucking burgers and fries. Y'all some gullible ass niggas, bro. Just for a few years later, for motherfuckers to come out and say this shit wasn't even really necessary for real.
Gang violence became way more intense.
Now, in a little bit, when they push that button, y'all gonna get the transforming and shit.
Over the world, and kids started getting caught in the middle of it more often.
I ain't never tell you that.
And people started having less and less concern for each other and individualism.
See me? All that shit, all that fear they tried to push. Oh, no job. You can't go to school. You need this to get to the gym. You need this to go to school. You need this to get a job. Yeah, nah, I ain't falling for none of that shit. I ain't falling for a lot of y'all did. A lot of y'all definitely did. But me, a nigga like me, yeah. When you feel me? When you walking with God, when you have God in your life, he's gonna always provide for you, no matter the circumstances. Even now, with all this shit that I be seeing on TikTok, with everything that's going on around the world, they be saying shit is going up in the sky, bro. I be seeing shit that's actually meant to put fear in y'all. But I be seeing it or reading it or hearing about it, and that shit don't even faze me, bro. Like, I don't be giving a fuck about none of this shit at all. At all. Politics, it don't matter. Because at the end of the day, the way I view it is, nigga, whatever happens is gonna happen. I dictate nothing. I promise you. Me putting my little input, me circling whatever me personally, is gonna dictate nothing. I promise you. Let's say it's a motherfucker with 200,000 votes, and they don't want that motherfucker to win. They want the motherfucker that has 100,000 votes. Then I go and vote. And that motherfucker that has 100,000 goes from 100,000 flat to 100,001. 100,000 and 100,001. Nigga, the other motherfucker who y'all trying to avoid from putting in office still has 200,000 votes. So me voting did absolutely nothing. And that's what I mean. It's like whatever happens is gonna happen regardless, bro. I don't give a fuck about shit. Unless it, is detrimental to me personally, my family, shit like that. But all that other worldly shit, like y'all niggas be doing too much. Even the shit that I be seeing people repost on social media, like what is a repost gonna do, bro? Like what is a repost on your story gonna do? What you doing? You standing for something? Are you out in the field? Like you think you resharing something on your story is doing something? Not at all. Not at all. And a lot of y'all don't even be practicing what y'all preach. I don't even know who the fuck y'all be trying to put an image up for. Make it seem like you standing for something. Go donate. Go out in the field and do some shit. If it's free, whatever, then go over there. Go over there. For real. Don't be doing shit on your story to your little hand group of friends thinking you doing something. You ain't doing shit. Just like remember back in 2020 when everybody was posting the black screen, hashtagging, black screen 2020 or whatever the fuck that was. Like, get your goofy ass out of here, bro.
I would say is at an all-time high right now, especially after 2020. But around 2020, this thing called smash and grabs became a common occurrence. Some of y'all might have seen a lot of those videos of a bunch of teens running inside a store, let's say a clothing or electronic store, stealing a bunch of clothes, laptops, and iPhones. And sometimes they arrive in, big-ass groups, right? All ski-masked up, looking like Pooh Shiesty.
Sunday, a group of thieves stole from the Nike store in East LA. We are blurring their faces here because they appear to be juvenile.
Pooh Shiesty. I ain't hear that name in a minute. That's wild.
juveniles. And last week, a flash mob robbery occurred at the Americana at Brand, one of developer Rick Caruso's properties. He says despite their sophisticated security systems and armed guards, it still happened.
And sometimes they arrive by themselves, like this man at this Apple store, and they, clean out the whole spot.
Oh. Nigga, in your pants? Nigga, that shit is about to fall from the bottom. What are you doing? You can't even, you're not even, wow.
Not only did he clean out the whole spot of all their iPhones, put all the phones in his boxers, but he did all that and literally walked past a police car. If that ain't talent, all the phones.
Nigga, that police car ain't even an active police car for real. Look at that shit. Don't even got sirens.
Did he clean out the whole spot of all their iPhones, put all the phones in his boxers, but he did all that and literally walked past a police car. If that ain't talent, bravery, and confidence in one, I don't know what is. But all jokes aside, right? This is what people associate a YN with. And although the image that pops up in people's heads is a black male or teen rocking a Pujazi ski mask, let's focus on the behavior itself, because that's what we're talking about. The YN mindset is a way of behaving, operating, and seeing the world. You don't think the consequences of your actions will catch up to you. Like this clip of this white kid
Bro, YN is just a new word that motherfuckers made up, bro. Nigga, bro, robber's been a thing. Killer's been a thing. Come on, bro. Like, why you, you see, and that's the crazy part, bro. Like, and that be the setup. That be the setup. Why you gotta associate? Yo, that's crazy, bro. Like, motherfuckers, why do you have to associate the word nigga with this type of behavior, bro? That's the setup. That's what motherfuckers be planting in y'all, and y'all just run with that shit. Niggas is gonna take YN, young nigga, and associate that with this kind of behavior rather than it just being, nigga, that's a robber. He's a robber. There's always been robbers. There's always been motherfuckers who steal, kill, do fucked up shit. It's always been that. So why make up this new term and associate that with young nigga? Why? It's a setup. It's a setup. I'm telling you. I don't know who created it. Listen, bro. What else I was gonna say? Oh, yeah. Companies like Apple, Gucci. I'm sorry to say Ralph Lauren. He from the Bronx and shit. But Ralph Lauren, them type of companies, yeah, rob them motherfuckers. Rob them motherfuckers. Rob the rich. Rob the rich. But the mom and pop shops, come on, bro. You can't be doing the mom and pop shops. That's what niggas was doing here in the Bronx in 2020. They was going in the mom and pop shops. You cannot take from the mom and pop shops. Go to Apple. Go to the billion-dollar companies and steal from them.
Mask. Let's focus on the behavior itself, because that's what we're talking about. The YN mindset is a way of behaving, operating, and seeing the world. You don't think the consequences of your actions will catch up to you. Like this clip of this white kid talking a bunch of trash to a police officer and getting manhandled.
Get off your seat. Okay, take off your seat. Yeah. Let me get your ID. You ain't gonna get shit. Okay. Take it off your seat. Well, what you laughing for? I'm writing your shit. Take it off.
And we're gonna cut it right there because YouTube is very strict.
So there's never been a tough white guy before. There's never been a white tough guy who talks crazy, probably even says the word nigga before, because we done seen that shit before. There's never been that. Now out of nowhere, this is a brand new breed, and that breed has to be associated with young nigga. Come on, bro. I see right through it. I see right through it. Shit is fucked up. This what they doing. I don't know who they is, but this what they doing.
I'm writing your shit. Take it off.
I'm writing your shit.
And we're gonna cut it right there because YouTube is very strict these days, okay? Let's just say that the end result was the young man begging for mercy on the ground, okay? Now, rap music has been a huge proponent of pushing the normalization of the YN mindset. And this is something I've spoken about on here for years in different contexts. We've seen countless young rappers crashing out.
Is that Jen Carter?
Absolutely no reason. Whether it's home invasions turned deadly in the
I ain't gonna lie. 2023? Niggas was going crazy, bro.
Case, or killing one of the most famous drill rappers at the time, Pop Smoke, when you're only 15 years old.
Yo.
That's a
What?
concoction of famous drill rappers at the time, Pop Smoke, when you're only 15 years old. That's a concoction of crash out and YN behavior. And you often see memes about this kind of thing, but I've yet to see an actual real conversation about what's created this phenomenon and why it needs to be abolished. We're talking about young people in large amounts, acting reckless, belligerent, hurting people in the process without any regard for how it's going to affect their lives and others. And it's also not that the older generation, let's say the 80s babies, weren't on demon time during the crack era, okay? Because they obviously were. Just ask your parents. It's just that we keep on seeing more recklessness and more innocent people getting caught in the middle of it. And a lot of this is being televised to an entire generation of young children through social media. And the number one, commonality that I've observed in this type of behavior is structure or lack thereof. Often we see this type of behavior in society, either in your own backyard or in close proximity to you or the people you love. You'll notice how a lot of these young boys, right? Specifically young boys, because young girls aren't out here like putting on ski masks and like robbing stores, right?
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. But overall, though, yeah, I won't nitpick and shit. But yeah, you're right. Listen, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Alright, bro. Dude, these bitches are so caught up in shit like Love Island and shit. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Everybody's just fucked. Everybody's just fucked. I ain't gonna lie, bro. This shit crazy out here. This shit crazy.
Most times they're not. In 99% of the cases, they're not, right? You'll notice how a lot of these young boys come from fatherless households, and 9 times out of 10, they were most likely raised by a single mother. A lot of times we also see another thing, which is they either come from an impoverished background. If not that, at the very least, we're talking about a working class background. And here's the thing. What happens when a father is absent in a lot of cases? Well, according to the studies, this has been very well documented. They say the following. Research shows when a child grows up in a father-absent home, he or she is 4 times more likely to live in poverty, more likely to suffer emotional and behavioral. She is 4 times more likely to live in poverty.
4 times more likely to live in poverty. Children in father-absent homes are almost 4 times more likely to be poor. More likely to suffer emotional and behavioral problems. Children of single mothers show a higher level of aggressive behavior than children born to married mothers. 2 times greater risk of infant mortality. More likely to go to prison, more likely to commit crimes. I'm not saying that's not true, because it is 100% true. Like, I mean, me personally, I've only seen this type of shit or this kind of conversation on social media. All of the people who I know personally in my life who didn't grow up with a father, they didn't grow up in none of these ways. Like, they didn't end up in poverty. They ain't. I know. One of my closest friends right now just got married or is getting married, and he ain't grow up with his pops. Talking about more likely to suffer emotional and behavioral problems. No, that's not true. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not true. It's just, I feel like that's just some shit that the media and social media pushes, bro. And just because social media is out here pushing shit, just because the news is out here pushing something, does not mean that it's the case, bro. That does not mean that it's true. Because you're seeing it on the internet, on social media, that means it's true? Or that means that it's the case like 90%, 95%, just because it's on your phone? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, I don't know.
More likely to suffer emotional and behavioral problems. Children of single mothers show higher levels of aggressive behavior than children born to married mothers. And number 4 is very major because it kind of goes hand in hand with this topic, and that is more likely to go to prison. 1 in 5 prison inmates had a father in prison. And then at number 5, which is very, very, very important for this topic, more likely to commit crime. Study of juvenile offenders indicate that family structure significantly predicts delinquency. Number 8, we have more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol. And then at number 10, we have 2 times more likely to drop out of high school. Now, obviously, not every single teen who comes from this type of background ends up committing brazen crimes or acts belligerent or shows a lack of self-control. And
yeah, that's what I'm. But that
this is occupied by others, right? And the question is.
But that's my point, though. What he just said is what I just said. All the people in my life that I know ain't grow up this way. People who ain't grow up with their father ain't grow up this way. So it's like, why isn't that getting pushed? Why isn't that getting spoken about? Why isn't that in the forefront as well? It doesn't have to be in the forefront, because obviously if not growing up with your father is leading you down a certain road in life, then obviously that should get spoken about more to find like a resolution. But it's like no type of shine is being given to the other side of that, to the people who didn't grow up with their father and grew up with a single mom and turned out completely fine. Like, that just doesn't get spoken about. And that's the weird shit to me, bro. That's the weird shit. Come on, bro.
So why is that? Well, there's a couple angles to this. First of all, a big one that's not emphasized is personality. You can come from the worst conditions and have every single obstacle against you known to mankind. If you're not naturally inclined to be this type of person, you're not going to put on a mask and start robbing old folks, right? And on the other hand, you can come from a household of love, two loving parents. You know, your name could be Clarence, and if you find the idea of being a menace to society appealing, then that's the path you're going to go down. And then we of course have a mix of this along with environmental influences, which we'll touch on later. Aside from that, another aspect of this is, back in the day, there used to be this thing called a rite of passage, something you did that marks the transitional phase of your life into adulthood. And this rite of passage added a layer of accountability to them as people, and it set a precedent that said you're now responsible for your own life, so act accordingly. Nowadays, we don't have any of that. Culturally, things are less structured. I mean, this young new generation doesn't really even know how to follow authority. Just take a look at what's happening with teachers and their students now.
Disrespect from students. In the 3 years that I've been teaching,
I've
been
me.
Cussed at
Damn.
countless times.
Damn.
I've been called fat.
Damn.
I've been called a B word.
Damn.
A lot of the young people from this generation think that following basic instructions like sit down or put your phone down is a sign of disrespect. A lot of the youth who adopt this Hawaiian mindset actually come from loving households. They didn't have to worry about missing meals or going to sleep without a blanket, only, showering with cold water or sleeping on the floor, eating rice and beans, you feel me? A lot of them have been spoiled to the point where consistency in their household or outside suddenly turns into a prison, which is why they're often looking for excitement in the outside world. And that excitement leads them down a road where they start acting out in ways that not only put themselves in danger, but the rest of us that want nothing to do with any of this. And a lot of the young boys who fall into this category, right, of kind of having this Hawaiian mindset, a lot of them just have no identity. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they want in life. They don't know where they're actually going. And it doesn't help that they don't have
like,
any...
Even that bothers me. YN mindset. Like, bro... Y'all motherfuckers, bro. Niggas just create some shit. Y'all motherfuckers take it and run with it, bro. That's wild. That's wild. They just showing us every day that motherfuckers could do whatever, control whatever, make some shit up. Like, come on, bro. And motherfuckers just fall for it. Motherfuckers just take that shit and fucking... Niggas just playing in y'all face, bro. Niggas just playing in y'all face. And y'all just out here eating that shit up. Shit wild. And another thing is like, bro, in every generation is always gonna be that this generation. Oh, this generation is lost. This generation, in every generation, it's always been that. Last generation, it was this generation is this generation is that. The generation before that, it was this generation is this generation is that. Now this generation, once again, but then again, I don't know. Has it gotten worse? Shit's probably gotten worse. I ain't gonna lie.
Real life, positive, and
I'm just saying, in every generation, motherfuckers is gonna pinpoint shit out of what's wrong with it.
Influences around them as a symbol for what they
today
can
is
become.
Bad, though.
On top of that, as soon as they head over to Instagram, their algorithm is pushing all this low-life behavior content in front of them. Whether it's people acting out in public and fighting, or things like videos of people who look just like them, white, black, purple, not color specific, terrorizing innocent people by being belligerent, ruthless, and a menace to society. And that validates their way of living, and
niggas, you in on it?
There's a low-life behavior content in front of them. Whether it's people acting out in public and fighting, or things like videos of people who look just like...
I'm over here thinking he just leaving the store.
Them, white, black, purple, not color specific, terrorizing innocent people by being belligerent.
Motherfucker held the door open.
Ruthless, and a menace to society. And that validates their way of living, and it plans to see that then normalizes this way of living in their mind. When you're spending more time
Why are you grabbing him?
And with a screen that's made to program your mind in a negative way.
Look.
That validates.
Look. You see that dude right there holding the door open? 9 times out of 10, that nigga right there is always the first nigga to get caught. And guess what? Being that all he did was just hold the door open. First off, even if you are just holding the door open, even if you are just driving, you're involved. You're involved. Alright? So niggas is gonna snatch you up, take you to the precinct, put you in handcuffs, and question you. Being that all he did was just hold the door open, he ain't robbed nothing, none of that, it's usually them that be the first one to tell. It's usually them that be the first one to snitch. For real. Because they be having the mindset of, I ain't do this, I ain't do that, all I did was this. You know, making it seem like as if the position they played was minimal. Because it is. So if the position they play, if all this nigga did was hold the door open and he's looking at life, for example, he's looking at life, and all he did was hold the door open, come on, bro. You know them niggas is gonna tell, bro. You know them niggas is gonna tell. Imagine doing years on top of years for just holding the door open. Of course he's gonna tell. They always do.
It's their way of living, and it plans to see that then normalizes this way of living in their mind.
Was that shit called conflict of interest or some shit?
Time with a screen that's made to program your mind in a negative way than with real people. Is it really a surprise that so many of these young kids are turning out this way? I don't really think so. And speaking of the identity thing, because I think this is worth hitting on a little more. I think this is the core of the issue, actually. Notice how a lot of the, in this case, the YNs who fall in this category, right? They tend to roll in packs. Now, why is it that people who exude this, I'm a savage mindset don't have the confidence to walk in the streets by themselves? You're supposedly this tough guy who likes to prey on a weak, and you'll beat up anybody who tests you, and you love to cause ruckus in the streets, but you don't have enough cojones to go outside by yourself. Let me tell you why that is. It's because a lot of these young men don't have an identity. They find their sense of security in the group because they don't have a sense of themselves. And the only time they can be themselves is when they're around a pack of 13 other YNs who think just like them. That's how they feel safe being them. They don't have any home training. They don't know what it means to conduct themselves in a public setting and be one with their environment. They're loud, they're aggressive, and they're repelling, honestly. So a lot of this stems from not knowing who they are, a lack of identity. And the natural response to that, rebellion.
God damn, that's a brolic ass glass. Shit ain't break.
Validated by the approval of the group. So their way of belonging is by being posted up with others who they feel have the same mission as them. The only oxymoron is the mission is obviously dysfunctional.
Oh, this New York.
And it adds no value to society at all. And the thing is, there's a reason why a lot of these young men are so quick to crash out, catching felonies through stealing, robbing, and in some cases even taking a life. We've seen that in hip-hop, right? To them, catching a charge or crashing out.
That's because my wave still ain't in yet, bruh. My wave still ain't, but the hat be leaving a dent in my shit, bro.
That's not a loss to them because they never felt like they even had a real place in society to begin with. If you're someone who, let's say you're in this demographic of people who could fall into this, the thing that's kind of gonna sway you from moving, all crazy and crashing out and being a YN, right? It's seeing the other paths that are available for you to walk in. Let's say you have a hobby you're passionate about. Maybe you like to sing, rap, write music, paint, health and fitness. Maybe you want to be the next Kai Cenat. Actually, don't try to be the next anybody. Just be you, right? Or you're in trading school, medical school, or you just graduated high school and you have plans to do something with your life. It's the options that are available for you that's going to make you not want to throw your life away by adopting the YN mindset and crashing out. The reality is there's a lot of young people these days who've given up. A lot of these are young men, sadly. And a lot of them, they lock themselves in the basement. They don't participate in life. They get hooked on drugs, alcohol, pornography. They play too much video games, whatever. They hate the world. They hate themselves. They hate women especially. And they're not willing to do anything to change their situation. And yes, there's something
talk your shit, Blackie,
to be said about why a lot of those young men are in those particular situations, but obviously crashing out ain't really gonna solve anything. I
ain't gonna lie, even me today, bro, when I be seeing motherfuckers that I grew up with my age and shit, and I see that they still on that dumb shit, that street shit that I was on in fucking middle school, beginning of high school and shit, running from other hoods and shit like that. Like, they still on that to this day. And I see that shit, it's like, bro, that shit is wild, bro. Like, that shit is wild to me. That shit is crazy. I just don't get it, bro. I just don't get it. Like, come on, bro.
What we're talking about here, right? And then what happens a lot of times in a situation like that is they get involved in the wrong crowd, and then a bunch of people with no identity come together and cause a bunch of chaos that we have to deal with in our communities. So it's on us to clean it up, because when one of these YNs robs an 80-year-old lady and she slips and hits her head and dies, that's unnecessary pain and suffering the people in our communities have to deal with. Energetically and spiritually, there's something that happens to you as a human being when other humans around you are grieving. That energy gets transferred to the rest of the community, and it lowers the frequency of the environment around you. I'm talking people walk around more anxious that it could happen to one of their loved ones or them. And I'm talking about, let's say, one of these YNs, doing something that leads to someone in a particular community dying, and then that kind of feeds into the community. That's what I'm talking about, right? People start walking around tense, guarded, doubting that their fellow humans have some kind of agenda when all they're doing is being polite or helpful, and that becomes the new normal. That's how distrust in society among people is created. And not to make this about money, right? But it does cost the government when tragedies happen. And a few examples of that, well, number one, emergency medical care for victims of violence. That is funded by the taxpayers, us. So it by default becomes a public burden. Number two, the police actually has to investigate the crimes, which that's an expense. And something that's kind of connected to this, which is, the average cost, and that's number three, the average cost of housing a juvenile in a detention center in the United States is over $200,000 a year. Did you know that? I didn't really know that. That's news to me, right? So when that 17-year-old young boy decides to catch a felony charge by popping somebody, right, or like doing some crazy, that's the price we gotta pay for what he did. And also, number four, okay, let's not forget things like increasing cost of insurance in high crime neighborhoods. And number five, and also this is a big one, businesses taking their companies elsewhere and leaving the areas where, these, in this case, these YNs are terrorizing, right? And obviously it ain't just YNs, doing all this crazy stuff. That's what we're focusing on in this video, obviously, okay? So you get it. And then something that's connected to number five, and I'm sure some of y'all have heard about this, right? Which is, haven't y'all heard what's happening to so many like specifically like black communities in America, whether it's Walmart, Target, or any other major chain that fuels the economy of said neighborhood? A lot of them are leaving these black neighborhoods, and they're leaving a lot of these neighborhoods because a lot of people are stealing, and they're losing so much money to the point where it's not even profitable for them to actually stay in these neighborhoods, right? And it's a shame that regular folks who aren't a part of all this craziness and all this chaos have to deal with this, and they don't have the funds to move, so they get affected, right? So it's really unfortunate how this is particularly affecting black neighborhoods all over America. A very small minority of our melanated brothers and sisters are, they're just honestly fucking it up for so many people, man. Like, I don't know what other way to put it. And obviously, like, most people aren't on this. Like, it's a very small minority of people like who are doing this, right? And I know it might feel like this conversation.
It's crazy how motherfuckers be out here doing shit, and then when a company like Walmart or Target decides to X themselves out of whatever said neighborhood and move their business to a better neighborhood, a white neighborhood and shit like that, then motherfuckers want to get on the internet and start talking about racism, or motherfuckers is racist and shit like that. It's like, nah, bro, y'all did that. That ass. Y'all made them all. Whoever's going in there stealing this shit, whoever's acting in that manner, y'all made them do that shit. That ain't that they racist. Y'all made them do that shit.
Has taken a little bit of a turn, but I think all this is connected, and it goes deeper than just a couple YNs. I'll be honest with y'all too, like, I don't know if this is gonna get better. Like, are things actually gonna get better? Because to me, it feels like the younger generation is getting more belligerent as the years go by. It feels like social media has done a number on their mind, and the algorithms are validating this messed up way of thinking and operating. And there's so many forms of media that are just feeding into the dysfunction as well. If you ask me, I think what we need more of is strong parents, leadership, guidance, structure, you name it. I think that's the medicine to a lot of the issues we've discussed in this video. However, the sad part is someone can grow up having all these things and more but end up like this. We've seen it in so many different examples. Son. A good example is T.I.'s son, King Harris. He's probably the best example of someone who had every advantage in the book but still ended up trying to appear as a thug, a gangster, someone who's about it. So there's no guarantees that someone ends up the right way. I know so many parents who've actually done their best, but their kids ended up catching felonies, murder charges. I mean, I know so many parents personally who they did actually do their best, but their kids still ended up catching felonies, murder charges, you name it. I guess in the end, all you can do is just do your best as a parent and hope for the best. Overall, it's also a community thing if you ask me. We as people, we have to make sure that our respective communities don't get destroyed by this type of behavior. We all got to make sure that we try to hold each other accountable as much as possible, and we actually protect our communities. That's one of the most important things that I think that we as people, we can do. Anyway, if you made it this far, drop a little like on this.
Shit, we're not gonna be able to do it if we keep falling for the shit that they keep throwing at us. We keep falling for the YN shit like little shit like that we take and run with. Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Shit is a plan. Shit is a plan. And we always forfeit. Shit is fucked up.
The video for the algorithm. If you're new here, my name is Blackie Speaks. Digital handshake, okay?
Listen, bruh. At the end of the day, if there is a young dude out there watching this, teens, early 20s, probably even late 20s, you know, especially in today's time when motherfuckers be in their late 20s and shit and they think that their life is just over, they think ain't nothing else gonna happen, they start to getting comfortable and giving up on whatever it is that they tried to pursue and shit like that. Because in today's time, especially with social media, we seeing all these young people, they're coming up quickly, they're getting put in a better position in life at a very young age. So if a motherfucker that's 19 and you're like 29 and you see that they're in a better position than you, that starts making you feel down and you feel like time is running out of you, nigga. If your phone is at 29% and your phone reaches 100%, that's still a lot of percentage that you, if you're all the way in PA and you live in New York and you have no charger on you, and your phone is at 29%, you know that ain't shit. So if you 29 and you live up to 100 years old, 100 years old is the goal, God willing. Nigga, that's a lot of fucking time. So let's just say if you do have that mindset where you think, oh, life is over, ain't shit else gonna get better. Bro, there's motherfuckers who made it in their 30s. Mid-30s, late 30s, early 40s. Even in the Bible, it said that a man does not become a man until his 30s. Even the life of Jesus, throughout his whole 20s, he was a carpenter. Low-key, chilling. Nobody knew about him. He ain't get popping, or he ain't walk in his destiny until his 30s. So if you are that type of person who has that mindset, bro, you going out here and doing some dumb shit is just gonna hold you back. You going out here and doing some dumb shit is not gonna put you in a better position. Because every day you wake up, that is another chance for you to do whatever it is that you want to do, or pursue whatever it is that you want to pursue, achieve whatever goal. You feel me? So if you wake up and decide to do some dumb shit, nigga, and you end up going to jail or getting killed, you're permanently done. You're permanently done. Ain't no more opportunities for you to wake up in the morning and chase whatever it is. Pursue whatever it is. So you doing some street shit, killing, robbing, ending up in jail, ending up getting killed, it ain't gonna do you no good, bro. It ain't gonna do you no good. For real. Shit is crazy, bro. Shit is crazy. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm over here talking all this shit. I've fallen victim to this shit too. I've fallen victim to the mindset of, oh, I'm not going nowhere. Life ain't going the way I want it to go. But it's just like, I had to snap out of that shit. Because it's just like, bro, the shit I see on social media, other people's lives, I can't allow that to dictate anything in mine. I can't allow that type of shit in my head. Because it's just like, no, bro. I've seen motherfuckers make it in their 40s. And that's why I fuck with DJ Ghost. Because he's a YouTuber, and he ain't make it in his 20s. He ain't make it in his late 20s, early 30s, none of that shit. He made it once he was grown, once he was an adult and shit like that. So it's just like, bro, listen, anything is possible, bro. Impossible says I'm possible. And I just feel like if you got God in your life, of course there's going to be hurdles, trials, and tribulations. But listen, bro, I feel like everything is to mold you, build you into the person that you're becoming. That ass. Shit crazy, bro. Shit crazy. That's the end of the video right here. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know down below what you want to see me react to next. Follow me on IG. The links is down below in the description. Or don't. You ain't got to follow me. I don't be on that shit anyways. You feel me? And that's that. You know? Yeah. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one, bro. I'ma holla at y'all.